Well, I've of course have enlisted the help of my staff to drive machinery outside the studio.
I was about to say, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, that's what I said. Well, make sure you wait until we go live on the air and then drive by repeatedly.
And bring it up.
And they did a great job because we were even late.
Oh yeah,
and then they did it.
They monitor the connection constantly on their side. And speaking of monitoring, well, why don't we go here and monitor the weather a little bit? And that's an old graphic right there. That's from last week.
Okay,
look at all that sunshine. Remember that was last week. You can say goodbye to that because what you're going to get this week is going to be mostly a rain situation. And while that's refreshing, I'm going to just prove that to you by looking at the radar there. And you see that there's a lot of moisture out there in the area. And it's going to continue through the most of the morning. It should be out. Oh, there we go.
What the heck?
We are just, it must be the storm clouds rolling through.
It could be.
I don't know what that was all about.
That was a clip.
This is this is our welcome to Billy Crane. Make it appear that we haven't. Where all the gremlins are jumping in today. So anyway, we'll have rain throughout the morning. It looks like it will be out here by early afternoon, and there we go. It's going to be maybe a couple of tenths of an inch of rain this morning. And a high of only 57, so it's going to be quite a bit cooler than it's been over the last several days. On Sunday, cloudy 63. Remember to spring forward. And don't cheat. You must get up at 2 a.m. and move your clock forward 1 hour. So remember, you're going to lose an hour's sleep tonight if you're a very sleep-sensitive individual. So spring forward 1 hour. 63, 52 tomorrow, and cloudy conditions. Really no talk of rain. However, that does return on Monday. A little warmer, 74, 53 for the low. Maybe as much as a half inch of rain on Monday. Tuesday, cloudy conditions return again. And then the rain returns again on Wednesday, possibly Thursday. And we do have a mention of sunshine by Friday, a high of 55 degrees. And currently here in the Music City, it is 50 degrees live from the Green Room Studios.
All righty, folks. If you want to interact with us, 615-499-6690. That's the number to send a message to. We'll go to Michael Moose's phone.
Yep.
And everything will be happy and lovely, and we will either screen your call.
By the way, Billy, if you're listening out there, you can go ahead and try to remotely connect with us here. I'm gonna send you a message also. We're flying by the seat of our pants somewhat this morning, simply because
we've logged a ticket with the IT department, issues. So we don't know.
I was going to say, how sometimes you have technical, you're like, okay, we have a technical issue. It's like that one time back when we were in the big fishbowl and the phones wouldn't work. We had 7 technical issues all at once.
Well,
and that's the way they
come in batches.
They tend to come in clusters, because otherwise
there
would be nothing to tie.
Which cluster would this one be this morning, David?
It would be the internet cluster that is failing to properly connect. We are using our backup camera today, so our shots may be a little different. Yeah, we're
so Eddie, if you get a bill this month, it's okay.
We are in full redundancy mode here at.
That's pretty normal for the at-home show, though.
Well, I mean, and I think it's in a way that it's kind of fitting to be able to show that, life doesn't always present you with the expected things. You get presented with situations and you adjust on the fly and you make it work the very best you can. So that's what we're doing today, and looking forward to having Billy Crane on here in just a bit. And I'll remind you, we're going to have a regular show.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you've got questions, certainly you can pick up the phone, dial that number right there, 615-499-6690. You can leave a voicemail right there. Michael's monitoring that. Or you can text us at that same number. Or you can go to the At Home Show Facebook page, and you can message us through that.
Yes, you can.
And make sure that when you go out there, turn your comments on. Share it, please.
By the way, Facebook has reminded us that there's a bell somewhere that you have to ring the bell at least a couple of times, because you need to follow, you need to subscribe, you need to ring the dang bell. You know what ringing the bell means at our house?
somebody needs to answer at the door?
No, that means that somebody needs to go outside to go potty.
Oh.
I've always been telling my son, if you ring that bell, it can't be unrung. That's usually my way of saying you're going to be in trouble.
Boy, you're in a dad.
Yeah,
being a dad. But no, the Wonder Dogs, they have a bell hanging by the exit to the garden spot where they have their little area, their recreation area.
They have a romper room.
Yeah, the romper room, and they ring a bell.
Or is it the rough room?
Roof.
Yeah, see what I did there? The roof room.
Roof room. 615-499-6690, folks. That is the number to dial to join us here. Michael, I understand that, and I was monitoring social media last night, that perhaps the grandparents came and got the little guy.
No, I was with them.
You were there too. Oh, okay.
My wife had she calls them get-to-gatherings. She had a get-to-gathering with
hen party.
Yes. Oh, a lady in the office was celebrating a birthday, so they all went out to get some Mexican. So I called up his Mima and I said, "Hey, let's go check out this place called Federal Grove. It's this little bed and breakfast in the town I grew up in, and I grew up there. Never been there in my life. Went for the first time. It was good. It was real good.
You went at dinner time.
Yes, I had fried chicken and honey glazed pork chop." And
how can it
fried chicken and honey glazed pork chop?
it's like a meat and it's like a 2 meat and 2 sides.
You said it was a bed and breakfast.
Well, yeah, they do. You can go there and stay there. It's called Federal Grove.
If you eat enough, you get sleepy. You just
you wake up the next day. They give you a bed
upstairs.
And it's up there.
But if it's a bed and breakfast, how can you eat supper there?
Well, they have to make money too. I guess you can come in and check out.
So it's a bed, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, I mean, it might as well just be a resort up there in Auburn, Kentucky, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, so Auburn's a resort.
Yeah,
I see. Okay. That's kind of like having one in Smyrna.
By the way, we've got
what?
Quite, last Saturday was my birthday.
What?
Happy birthday.
And as our friend Billy Crane comes on here in a moment, he and my mutual friend, Jimmy Fadden, who's the drummer / harmonica player / vocalist for Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. He had a birthday this week as well on the 8th. Tyler had his birthday 2 days ago, an undisclosed age.
In 6 months, I'll have one.
32.
Yeah.
What's that again, Tyler?
Josh has got one coming 32. Up here the early part of the week. And my a younger brother who has one the day after Josh, and another friend, John Wright, who has one the day after that. So
Jeremy Richardson is on St. Patty's Day.
So there's just a whole lot of birthdays this time of year.
Yeah, they told Mama that they wear the Ides of March.
I guess what they should really say is beware the Ides of June, because it's a whole lot of you count back 9 months, and that's what that gets you.
Is it 9 months?
Yes.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
I don't like where this is going.
Just count forward 3 months. You can go that way. But anyway, Michael, I don't know why you didn't get the memo. The rest of us are having birthdays here, in more than a week. I guess you want to be different.
I like to celebrate my birthday on my own.
You don't want to have to be included with others.
Well, I already have to share the same birth month with my wife. And then my boy's birthday is about just a little less than a month ahead of mine. So it's kind of all clustered right there.
You're talking about clusters again this morning.
Yeah, but this is the good kind of cluster.
Oh.
It's just basically a 2-month party.
We have a cluster of plants inside the building.
Oh, we got a few plants in here. Let's tell you quickly before we get Billy on air here, and again, we apologize for technical difficulties. We're just it's just the way that is. Sometimes it just happens. But if you want to really grow the best quality of plants, like you see around us here in the studio this morning, you want to use the best soil products, and we think Earth Mix Garden products are the very best. Success begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix Garden products, and you don't have plants that merely survive and hang on. They really thrive, and you get the optimal amount of growth out of them. So if you're going to buy the best plants, and we really are advocates of that, your time is worth quite a lot, and in order to get the best results out of the best plants, you want to use the best soils and amendments, and that's Earth Mix Garden products. And really easy to find. Now, you're not going to find Earth Mix products at a box store. You're going to have to go to earthmix.net and click on the Find Earth Mix tab, and there you will see a map come up. It'll show you where you are and all the locations around Middle Tennessee and Kentucky, such as the Barn Nursery. You can go over there to Palladio Garden Horticultural Center, Greenfield Plant, and then, of course, in Middle Tennessee, plethora of growers, including folks over at Turnip Truck and other seasonal growers. So check that out over at earthmix.net. And again, success begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix garden products. So check it out. Available at all your favorite independent garden centers around Middle Tennessee and Kentucky.
Absolutely, folks. I tell you what, it's I bought some of the compost variety last week, and
Supernatural,
and I took, and it worked out perfect. I took a bag for each one of my raised beds.
Yep.
Scraped it in and top, and I'm going to till in a little bit. And
now, one of the things that people need to be mindful of is when you're using soil products that are of high organic matter content. What that means is there's going to be a lot of material that will naturally break down. So if you fill a planter 1 year and grow in it the whole season, you're going to notice that it settles down. It's not just settling, it's the actual decomposition of the organic material going on. So it tends to reduce the volume. And what that does is it gives you the opportunity to be able to take a bed that you had perhaps Earth Mix garden in the previous
year,
I did, and add Supernatural to the top of it and till it in, and then you're back up on grade wise as far as where you want the soil level to be, and you've replenished the nutritional value of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I am also trying to do a little germination because I'm going to try some things. Yeah, and I know that's Greg Hall's favorite nation.
Speak of the germination.
I read this on the internet, so I know it must be true, David Bates.
Oh, it has to be.
I took some it said use the cheapest possible coffee filters that you can find.
Okay.
Wet them. Place your seeds.
A lot of people used coffee filters, but that was for different things back during the great toilet paper shortage of last year.
They're quite absorbent, but beyond that, they had you're to wet these, and you place your seeds, and then you fold them back over.
Yeah, that will work.
You place them into a plastic bag, a Ziploc bag. It was very specific. You can't use a fold over top type. Okay.
Yeah, and there's something that's even cheaper than a coffee filter. It's called a paper towel, which will do the same thing. Just fold it in half or cut it in half and quarter that. That also works really well for the same purpose.
But it didn't. It said coffee filters, David, and I read the directions. So
yeah, I mean, you can use coffee.
And then you're supposed to place it in a sunny window. Is that?
Well, I mean, a sunny window. See, seeds don't need sunshine
to
germinate. They just need
warmth.
Warmth, right?
Okay.
So
and water, right?
Warmth and water. So, but once they germinate, then they do need the light. But at that point, you need to get them out of that coffee filter or paper towel or whatever you're germinating them in.
Put them in their little little pots and stuff like that.
Yep. A lot of people will put them in little, what's called as a Jiffy 7. It's a little expanding peat
I like
pellet.
the 8s better.
There's that. Or
an organic potting mix of some sort.
Now you don't want to put, say for instance, Earth Mix Garden or Proganic. So those are not intended for seedling use. You've got to get those established and get those. You want to be using a plant that has a little more established growth to it. So that's not a good mix for. It's too rich in nutrients.
You need to let them grow up a little bit.
They need to have a little time to mature a little bit. So you want to use something that does not have fertilizer or highly nutritious soil in it at the outset. Yeah, Mike.
I was actually looking at our raised beds yesterday because I've got
above ground gardens.
Yes, so I've got the same issue. The soil's settling, so I've lost an inch, 2 inches, something like that as it's fallen down over the year. But one thing I've noticed, it seems that I'm going to say the term volunteer. It looks like I've got some volunteer lettuce coming up.
Cool.
And I've got some big onions that have popped up. So my question is, would these onions be I was talking to my mom about it. She said that those onions might be too, quote unquote, hot to eat. Are volunteer onions like edible?
Well,
They're actually kind of a garlic, aren't they, David? Or-
They are. I mean, and that's kind of a palate of the beholder rule. I mean,
Okay.
you might deem them to be just fine, but they certainly are not going to be sweet like a Vidalia.
Gotcha.
So that's something to
So it's
keep.
a weed is really what it is.
Well, no, this isn't like what you
Did you
see.
have- did you have
I had onions.
Oh, okay.
These are some big stalks.
Big stalks.
Big stalks.
Big
stalks,
stalks.
yeah,
Okay.
big.
Okay. All right. 615-499-6690. The Yard Boy's watching this morning, and tell you what, I appreciate that. If folks share the program, and he reminds us that you're not supposed to turn your clocks forward. You have to do your sundials. You have to rotate your sundial.
Well, and
Really, would it be rotating
what
the
makes
sundial?
that what makes that difficult is that at 2 a.m. when you're supposed to do it, you have to have a flashlight out there, and
So it's a two-person job.
And if you hold the flashlight just right, you can make it be whatever time you want it to be.
You know what used to freak me out? So I was doing overnights at a radio station, and we do like daylight savings time or when it would fall back, and I'd be sitting there watching the computer. It's got the playlist, and just automagically we would either skip an hour or fall back an hour, and only once did it mess everything up, and the computer said, "Ooh, fatal error," and I was like,
We were on
That might
during
be-
the Y2K. Remember that? We thought that the whole world
I do
was gonna
remember
come
that
down.
way back when, some 21 years ago, when we came on the air and advised everyone they could, at that point, drain their bathtubs and their
Waterbed bladders.
People had bought a lot of these big waterbed bladders to
You know what a
store
waterbed
water
is?
in.
Yeah.
I know what a waterbed is.
Okay.
So that was I'm sorry.
Tell them to drop out and I'll cue them back in.
Okay, Billy, if you're listening out there, drop off and restart your software again. Where he's trying again. So sorry about that.
Whatever you did at Groom Lake a few weeks back, you really messed us up today.
Did I?
Yeah.
I didn't think that the Clarity flocculator that I
Yeah.
was adjusting.
The what later?
The Clarity flocculator.
Oh, okay.
You have to be careful with that.
Well, your flocculation is one of those things that has to be.
Now, wait, actually, I misspoke, David. I'm sorry. You were the last one at Groom Lake.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, you were.
No, I was at the facility at Groom Lake, but I was not in the IT department. I was checking the loading dock. Okay. So, but that way we can transfer in and out and back and forth with it. But folks, we're here for you, and we're working through these issues, and we appreciate your patience.
Yeah, it's when the lights get bright, it's when we obviously shrink.
I thought that was cool.
Well, yeah. Actually, and I don't know if you guys mentioned this or not.
What?
It'll be 1 year ago tomorrow.
Yes.
This was basically we've been doing this a year from the nursery.
Yeah. Now, and to kind of refresh, we broadcasted initially from the checkout area.
Yes.
Yeah.
The first week we did it in that area because we
Didn't know any better.
felt like it was going to be that we've been led to believe it was going to be
temporary
a couple of weeks. Maybe could be a little more.
Okay.
And by the second week, we had already, I think, the enormity of the situation had become a little more
Clear.
well known. Yeah, a little more clear. So we knew, well, we're going to be doing this at least for a while. Let's do something a little more permanent. So we began working on our facilities here, and it's been a continuing process since that point in time. We have had no shortage of things that have been improvements, and of course, when you're doing an effort like this, sometimes things don't go as planned. And this is one of those days where apparently I've got to swap out this router we've got down here because it's being very selective in which devices it's allowing to connect, and I don't know why that is. It never did before.
What was that original talking GPS device that wasn't too bright? Is that what's happening here? Is that it's routing us a different way?
It could be. It could be.
Garmin?
No. There was a lady.
Josh has been using a speak and spell to get around for a while, I guess.
I had one of the original bricks. I had one of the GPSs that was a handheld backpacking tool, and it was very neat. But the thing is that to mark your waypoints with this particular one I had, you had to go there.
You had
You had to actually physically go there.
That's not a GPS. That's just it's a GPS in the sense it'll tell you where you are, but it ain't going to tell you where to go.
Where you've been or how to get there.
There's no sense of how to get back there if you haven't already.
So you
been
always
there.
marked where your vehicle was,
Right.
where your in vehicle was, but to go find your camp spot, you had to go there.
Sounds like too much work.
And now in this day and time,
And it ran on standard AA batteries that when it was 13 degrees, it was really reliable.
now in this day and time, we all have phones that tell you that you're 17 minutes from work, and you didn't say I'm going to work, or that you're 12 minutes from home, and you'll be there by a certain time. I go, I didn't ask you that. So, there's a lot of information being fed to us that we maybe don't want.
It also wants you to share your location.
I was leaving work the other day, and it said, "Hey, we can tell that you're leaving where you normally are. Would you like us to play your favorite podcast or your music?" And I was like, "What?" So I was like, "No, I'm good. I'll just get it myself."
Now, I have talking with a friend of mine, Dennis Coward, by the way, my buddy. He's back out in Lubbock right now, Lubbock, Texas. But Dennis was traveling down the highway the other day where he was not actually. He says, "Hey, I got to get off the phone. I want to get back down the road. I've got this special insurance rate where that he agrees to allow the insurance company to monitor his cell phone use, so that they ding you if you're using the phone, even if it's hands free." While you're going down the road, so I try to always pull over if I'm going to use the phone, which is not a bad idea. I mean, we all know that driving is a full-time mental activity and should be treated as such.
Not in Nashville.
Well, it can be pretty dangerous if you're out there trying to.
Only on Interstate 24.
No.
In a downpour.
That's not so. What was it? Friday? No, Thursday. It was Thursday.
Was it Thursday or was it Friday?
No, it was Thursday. My wife called me and she goes, "There's been a bad accident at the end of the road." She barely got out of the way. Some kid on his cell phone rammed his little sports car up the rear end of a pickup truck.
Ouch.
They're both okay.
Right.
But it was, he was going down our little road at it must have been 60 miles an hour. So yes, don't text and drive. But also, don't let everyone know what you're doing all the time. That's my point.
There's that. 615-499-6690. I'll tell you what we're going to do here. We're going to talk a little bit about Bates Nursery here for just a moment, and hopefully we can get Billy Crane connected. And again, we're very sorry for the technical difficulties today, but technically putting all this together is difficult.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of it. And of course, the big news at Bates Nursery this week, in the Garden with Bates Nursery newsletter is it's a sign.
It's a sign.
I don't know if you guys knew it's a sign or not. And you may be asking yourself, well, what's a sign? It's the sign. It's the sign out front at the Garden Center. If you scroll down here on batesnursery.com, you can see all the previous newsletters, and soon this week's will be up there as well. Maybe I haven't restarted it, but what you're going to find out is that we are extending our hours effective tomorrow, given that we are back in daylight saving time mode. We will be open from noon until 4 on Sunday, so now we're open 7 days a week at Bates Nursery and Garden Center, 8 until 4 o'clock, Monday through Saturday, noon to 4 on Sunday. So come in and see us. Our inventory is growing by the day. We have trucks coming in literally every single day. We're going to start bringing in, it's about time to start bringing in more annual things, more flowering plants like that. Still a little early. I'm not suggesting that it's time to plant warm season vegetables such as tomatoes and that kind of thing, but if you just can't wait, we do have a limited selection for those who are determined they're going to plant them today. So I invite you to come out and see us. We are nearing the being ready to open up our most recent addition, expansion area where we've redone part of the roof on our flat top greenhouse. So that'll occur by next weekend, and we'll have a significantly larger selection of annuals starting next week. So
you do that every year. Annual.
Yes, annuals are a annual event.
Okay.
Yeah, we do it every year.
You're a perennial favorite in my life.
Well, yeah, we also have quite the selection of perennials. So to check all that out, come see that and get information from our experts. And They do it all the time, and they know what we have and what's going to work best in your particular situation. So check that out here at Bates Nursery. And no matter what you're looking for, whether it's trees, shrubs, ground covers, all things tropicals, we have a tremendous selection of tropical plants, containers, and of course the best soils, Earth Mix Garden products, either available in bag or in bulk, right here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. So come out and see us. Take photographs before you come out of the area that you're working on. That really helps our landscape professionals get an idea of what you're working with in your particular landscape situation, so we can help you to get the right plants in the right place the first time, because that's the way we do it at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. We're located 1 mile north Briley Parkway at exit 19 on Whites Creek Pike. That's just minutes from Rivergate, Opry Mills, Nashville West, downtown Nashville, and I promise you this, it's worth the drive no matter where you're coming from. So come see us. Check us out online at batesnursery.com, where everything we sell is also available for purchase online. So if you happen to be surfing the internet at 2 a.m., well, you can go out there and peruse our inventory. You can actually purchase things, and you can arrange for delivery all right there from the comfort of your laptop, computer, or other device. Check that out at batesnursery.com. Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932. And appreciate your attention there for a few moments. And apparently the Billy thing is just not going to happen today, is it, Tyler?
I'm not seeing him
We're
on joining in, and I've sent him a meeting ID.
Well, and our apologies to Billy and to all of you for we have not had this issue before.
No.
And so we can check one more thing off of the list, and so we hope to get Billy back in here really soon and try to rectify this situation. And I'm really sorry that we had these issues, but we're suffering through the best we can.
Live media will always have something happen. You can count on that.
Always. And no matter how well that you feel like you've prepared, live reveals whatever inadequacies you might have at that particular moment. It could be that at 9:05 it all clears up and we'll be off the air.
Oh, man. That would be it.
But, you throw it a curveball. Some people can hit them. Some people can't.
Well, apparently we're not quite
sometimes
making
the pitchers win. Sometimes they don't.
You're not quite making contact with that one today. So anyway, we've given it our best effort. And there's just some things that when it's time to go on the air that you can't deal with it. We needed a little bit more time to be able to work all the way through. So again, apologies to Billy Crane. We're going to look forward to having him back on again in the near future.
What is his website? Because he was going to talk about a charity for us.
Actually, there's a couple things you ought to look at. It's Veterans at Freedom Sings USA, and you can just you can Google that, Veterans at Freedom Sings. That's his charitable organization that he works with, and a lot of veterans come out of their active duty with a lot of issues, PTSD. A lot, it's a very difficult situation when people are out there and they're volunteering their services for a period of their life, and they often, when they come out, suffer some consequences from that. So one of the therapeutic things that Billy and others are working with is this songwriting and performing thing with veterans. So it's a really excellent thing. Make sure you check that out. Veterans at freedomsingsusa.com.
And thank our soldiers, folks.
Yes.
Every time you see one, say them.
Absolutely. So check that out, and we'll get more information about that in the coming times ahead. This is obviously the spring season. Everybody is chomping at the bit, so to speak. They're ready for spring to get officially underway, and of course we're still a week away from the official beginning of spring. It's nobody believes that it's already here. I did read something this past week that if you like the effects of the temperature of the planet increasing, it looks like by 2100, which I don't know if any of us will be alive at that time, but
Maybe.
that we
My
could,
Sam might be here.
Sam, we could have summer for 6 months out of the year by that point.
I'm good with that.
You live in Florida, they do that now.
Well, yeah. So anyway, but I think you'll be able to get those same conditions in Minnesota, possibly. So
I
anyway,
don't know that I'm good with that.
So anyway, if you like
You ever
that,
been to Minnesota
Oh yeah, family there.
in the wintertime?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah, there's a good reason why people live in Minnesota because they were born there.
Yes.
And that's what they know.
That's like saying there's a good reason people are in Minnesota. They're stuck.
Now, if we have anybody viewing us from Minnesota, do you guys still tell the North Dakota jokes? Instead of
Every state always does jokes about the neighboring states. There's always jokes that are in generally poor taste that are about the woes and discrepancies of a neighboring state.
One of my all-time favorite radio imaging jingle things that I ever heard was the great Jerry House was on the air. And one of the things that happened before a show is
not the okay Jerry House, the great,
the fantastic, amazing Jerry House. He said the thing said sometimes Jerry speaks slowly because the signal reaches Alabama.
Well, that's one of those things that's true. But I would tell you what, a lot of people will maybe make light of that, and that's not. But the truth of it is, and there's a big line of thought that particularly offensive linemen are not all that sharp. So they were saying that the Alabama offensive line. But I would tell you what, the Alabama offensive line all make straight A's. Now their B's are still a little crooked, but their A's are nice and straight.
That's a bit of an urban.
Now Tyler's our Alabama guy. He's.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tyler.
You're sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Come
sorry I said that. I didn't know you were from
Tyler,
Alabama.
you're welcome to bring the Tennessee version of those jokes back out here.
Or Kentucky. I'm from Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
You want to make fun of Kentucky?
The truth of it is that it's a target-rich environment. We all have plenty of things to be making fun of, and the truth of it is that it all is in light. We're not. It's not serious. We're just having fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the truth is, without Tyler, we wouldn't be any of this right now.
No, we would not. That's why he got his own camera. I mean, again, in normal days, he got his own cam.
Yeah, we're down to one camera. This is why we have 3 cameras, so that we can get at least one that will work. But Tyler's got a webcam right there on him. He could be on the screen if he wanted to be.
I do like this angle, this camera angle.
You do?
Yeah, kind of lower.
A little bit lower, a little bit.
A little bit more intimate.
Yeah.
A little bit more in Josh's face. I'm sure he loves that.
It's always good. 615-499-6690.
Michael, I just got this feeling that Josh's mom told him how wonderful he was just a couple times too many, because it took severely.
Yeah, I was about to say, did your mom ever tell you?
Talking about my mom?
Did your mom ever tell you that you was just special and perfect?
No.
Are you sure?
Oh,
I'm not sure about that.
She liked me pretty good, but in the Cary household, and if they happened to be mixed with the show's households, when you were a child, and I don't know if this was universally done just at my generation, but you were guilty until proven innocent.
Oh yeah,
for
because
any single minor infraction as it went along, and I was guilty a lot.
Well, okay? The thing of it is, I'm going to go on record as saying that you, in fact, were guilty a lot. You didn't get caught all the time.
No,
you were guilty a lot.
But, your rap sheet was so long they just quit asking you, "Did you do this?" No, he did it.
Now
I've heard stories I've heard stories of people absconding the riding lawnmowers on base, and
it only happened the one time.
Well, when the CO gets involved with it, it will only happen one time. Because, if the
and you're talking about his mom again at that point, right?
No. We're talking about General Proudfoot at that point in time. He identified 2 of us because we lived next door to him. Well,
it could happen to anybody.
Well, I mean, it's like my little boy. He's only 2.5 years old. He went home the other day. He had red marker all over his hands. I said, "Who colored on your hands?" He looked around, and I swear he did the little shifty eye thing to make sure she wasn't listening. He goes, my Meemaw did. I said, oh, did she? Let's go ask her. And he goes, no, we don't have to do that. I can't do that. And he started going,
No.
I was like, so you're always guilty. Always.
Yeah, always guilty until proven innocent. But today would have been Mama's birthday.
Oh, is that right?
As well. And
another special Piscean amongst us. So,
a woman before her time.
I never had the pleasure of getting to meet your mom, but I know she was
she'd have hit you too. She'd have nailed you right out, Betty boy.
I'm sure she would have. You've been hanging up with that boy of mine. I know what kind of guy you are.
Okay, but she had. We've talked about her. She had ninja skills, Michael.
Well, you told me at the boomerang shoe.
No. She'd come up out of that slipper or and get you and have it back on her foot before you even knew what was going on with it. And she, the TV guide. Ooh, man, that one was sting. And she knew all the tender spots too.
My mom used a pink ruler, like a pink wooden ruler.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't throw it at you though, did she?
No,
she would just smack the whatever.
Knuckles usually.
Well, they hit what was
I'm joking.
they hit what was ever close. I mean,
okay, put your fingers on top of the desk. It's a roll top desk. We're going to slam it.
Take your medicine.
Now, don't do that again. I told you, don't touch it.
All righty, folks. We are again going to apologize to you because we had it pinned and we were looking very, very much forward to having Billy Crane here on the show, and we will endeavor to get him rescheduled.
We will get him back, and he just sent me a text, and so. Again, apologies, Billy, but we will make that happen. We're
y'all get hooked up on you. Go listen to him.
And I'm just grateful that Billy's a good friend of mine because it makes it a little easier to be able to apologize.
Oh yeah,
enough to be able to make it known that he knows me pretty well, so he knows that I'm subject to.
There's a
error.
certain Mrs. Hay. Joyce Hay saying, "Shame on you, Michael."
Oh no!
Oh yeah.
She can say it all she wants.
He's rarely at a loss for words, but boy, he was struggling there for a moment. Kind of goes,
I've just got to be careful about how I phrase that. But it's
David and I have come through the years that the only time that our wives happen to listen to the program or listened or watched the program
is when we might
be picking on them.
I wasn't picking on her. I'm just telling a historical fact.
Well, that we usually are telling historical facts as well.
Well, facts are things are based on perspective.
Yes,
kind of like Harry and Meghan this week. With Oprah, you wonder,
I didn't even watch that because I don't care anything about the Royals.
Well, there's a lot of.
You're a Cardinals fan, obviously.
There are.
I love the Catholic Church.
It's like it's been said. There's three sides to every story. There's my side, there's your side, and then there's the truth.
Okay.
So the truth's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what's Archie going to say in about 20 years?
I imagine.
Come on, Arch.
He's probably going to say, "Why'd you name me this dumb name?"
Archie. I like Archie.
Yeah, I kind of like
Good
Archie.
classic name. Yeah. But anyway, 615-499.
Isn't it short for Archibald?
It's probably
now,
a 14
I got
name.
a question. Maybe you guys can answer this. What is, because Harry is part of the, Harry is part of the House of Windsor, right?
See,
what is his last name?
Currently, it's Windsor.
Is it?
They changed it. It was a long Russian name.
No, not Russian, but German.
I thought they were Austrian originally.
Isn't
that the same thing?
They were part of the German nation.
They changed it like 100 years ago because
beginning of the 19th century, I believe.
Well, just prior to the First World War, because it didn't play well.
So his name is William Arthur Philip Louis or Louis Windsor.
Windsor.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So he's still a Windsor. They didn't take that from him.
Well, at least he's not a Tudor. Them Tudors were some bad boys.
Yeah, too many beans.
And the Threeders are even worse.
The Fourthers? Go forth. 615-499-6690, folks. We're here because we're obviously filling because we were expecting to have a musical guest.
Well, I'll tell you what.
And that's okay. We fill a lot.
There's a lot of folks who are understandably preoccupied with getting out and working in the yard and getting things done.
Pick up the sticks.
Hope they got the crabgrass stuff down this past week.
Yes, it would have been a great week to get that down with this nice soaking rain that we've had coming in.
I want to give a big shout out to my buddy, my good friend, Andy Rust, or you might know him as Roger Rust. and his family owned Wayside Garden Center here in Nashville years ago. Andy has a Cornerstone landscape management, and he's now taking care of things at our house. So they came out yesterday and got everything looking really good. So thank you, Andy. I appreciate that. Or Roger is, he's
pseudonym. That's his nom de plume, as it were.
He's known as both. So I don't know why I kind of default to Andy, because that's Andrew's his middle name, I do believe. So anyway, thank you, and appreciate the good work that he and his guys did yesterday. That means I didn't have to do it.
That's always a plus.
Yeah,
Mrs.
I'm
Hay
really
is correct.
appreciative.
Mrs. Hay is also bringing out the truth, as it says. The one side, she said she had a pink ruler but didn't use it on his knuckles ever. EVER.
Well, that's why I said I was joking when I said that.
Yeah. You see him; he's sweating. Jeff.
My mother,
He's
like my
sweating
wife,
just
is that my wife always says. Now, she goes, for instance, hey, I don't want you to do this, or why'd you do that? And she'll go, well, that's what you said, but what I heard was, whatever she wanted to hear. My mom seems to be doing the same thing. I said I was joking. What she heard was,
get the shovel, Michael. Come on.
Well, one of the things I most greatly struggle with is the difference between outright lying and what I perceive to be colorful embellishment.
Yes.
So things that add a little personality to a story. And
Too many details will get you caught.
Well, no, Mark Twain always said, don't let facts get in the way of a good story.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, 615-499-6690. Now, David and Tyler, I see some ferns out front. I don't think we've ever had ferns.
Yeah, those are some sword fern there, I do believe, and a very nice perennial fern.
Wow.
And those you can plant out in an area that either gets morning sun or is shaded throughout the day. They are very adept at low light conditions and absolutely cannot tolerate the hot afternoon sun. So if you had them on an eastern location, be a good spot for them. There's one of the most difficult things, landscape situations that there are to deal with is the lack of light. And things such as hostas and hardy ferns and those kind of things do a lot to add an extra source of variety. Some heucheras that are kind of hiding in behind there. They might not even be visible on camera, but there are some, there's those purple leaves right down here.
A little bitty one.
Just reach them. And those are also a great shade plant. So we really work hard at trying to have a whole variety of things that are shade. Also the chorus, that sedge-looking grass, those also are quite adept at shade as well. So there's more things than you might think to choose from in shady areas. What you do give up to a great degree is not color, but flowers. You don't get a lot of flowers on shade-loving plants. You get some, but you don't get a bunch. So just be mindful of that. You need to get your color from other directions and from differences in the textures and contrast and colors of the foliage, which goes a long way to bring that desired pop to a shade garden area.
Pop your shade garden, as it were.
You don't want it to go flat on you. You want it to. There's Tyler.
I was going to say, you said pop, and then all of a sudden there he was.
We got some incredible looking Linton roses in at the greenhouse here.
We absolutely do have the hellebores or Linton roses, if you prefer.
Yep.
They are excellent. This is their time of year when they really shine. They are in full bloom, and Joy takes incredible care of them. And I don't know how many cultivars we've got, but there are several down there, and they are all in full bloom right now. Good thing about them, they start flowering. They probably started flowering about the time the snow melted from a few weeks ago, and they've been blooming ever since. So they're a great cool weather shade tolerant plant, but they bloom while the trees, before they would get the leaves out on them. So they're pretty much done with all of that before the heavy shade comes about.
Yeah. I've got if we could go to input 2 when you get a second, because
that's me.
There was you have the controller today.
Yeah, I'm hogging the device today. If I can make it work.
One thing that we noticed last week while we were outside, because we tried to get outside because it was glorious last week, this patch showed up in the at the proving grounds. And this,
your audio's on, Josh.
Yeah,
per
Josh,
usual.
come on, man.
Per usual.
Par for the course now.
I mean, yeah,
why
we would not. It would not be right word otherwise. As a matter of fact, it's totally appropriate on this day of snafus.
We're totally
The snafu edition.
Are we sure that it's not the TV?
Well, it could be the TV.
Uh-oh.
See, I'm not even.
The big screen, we call it.
Oh,
They do it?
That's a bad look.
It was
That's
me.
a bad look.
It was me. Okay.
Anyway, folks, this patch of stuff showed
You're such an easy target, though, Josh.
It's a target-rich environment. But this patch of stuff showed up at the proving grounds, and it is very, as you can see it in the fescue there. And if you
Can you zoom in on that at all?
I can zoom as far as
Very
you want.
pixelated.
Go.
I have another vision of it that we could show here, but this one is.
It's a building. Wow.
That's in San
Your
Antonio,
house is
Texas.
I was about to say,
really.
those ants are hard at work.
They are. That is in San Antonio near the Alamo, by the way. This one is. This is a maybe a little
Which, if
bit.
you've never been to the Alamo, you must go to be able to go.
It's not as
that
big as I
it?
thought it was going to
Is that
be.
it?
A little tiny church.
It's just the very, it used to be a big stockade,
Yeah.
which if you go inside, you see all of that. But
It's
the
right
very
up
front
from,
of it
it's
is
right up from that place where the bars are down in the hole down
a
the
riverfront area, river walk.
Riverwalk.
Yeah.
But as you can see, it's very dense. It's very nice. I sent it to Drew. Drew couldn't identify it. And Alan Wyndham is in his, and I'm going to take this as gospel. Dr. Wyndham
It looks like Mondo Grass.
Mondo Grass. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. But it's just I didn't plant this, so we're going to propagate this into different areas of the yard.
It's one of those things that we have it at our house, and it's not rapidly invasive, but it will spread. So you will find it wherever you put it.
I kind of like it.
What? No, it's a great. It stays low. It looks nice. What I have done traditionally, and that appears to be I don't know if it's the dwarf or the regular Mondo. The dwarf Mondo only gets about maybe 2.5 inches tall. The regular gets maybe 4 inches.
Well, it must have started last fall because as you can see, it's been cut at least a couple of times.
And that's the thing. What I was alluding to, that this time of year I would typically mow it with the lawnmower at the high setting. That cuts all the brown ends off of it, and it flushes right back out. It looks nice. So if you get lemons, you make lemonade.
But how does it jump the fence and jump 5 feet, and then it's literally probably.
So there's these things called wind, and if someone let their Mondo Grass get too high, seeds flew.
I've not seen that happen.
I don't know. I'm just talking out.
Yeah, I don't. They do produce a seed, but I've never seen
birdies eat.
Yeah, you don't. We rarely see them ever get to seed. They normally are propagated through division.
They're fertilized very well, though, because this is inside the dog recreation area.
Did you transplant something from somewhere else?
No.
Or,
Could it pop up in a field and then get the seed that way, and then a bird carry it?
Maybe it's a conspiracy where the Ophiopogon.
Excuse me.
That's the Latin word for Mondo, Ophiopogon. Ophis and pogon are the two Latin words, by the way.
Don't point those things at me.
Ophis means beard, and pogon means goat.
And doofus means Josh.
And goat's beard is what the common name for Mondo Grass.
Goat's beard.
That's another common name for it. So Ophiopogon.
How does that Mondo Grass take foot traffic?
It's very durable. I mean, it's quite durable. And now, like any other soft foliage, if you have enough traffic on it, it's going to wear it out, but it won't kill it. It'll still come back.
8 tiny little feet have not hurt it so far.
No, it's not going to. It's very tough.
Because Josh, that literally worked its way in your yard, right? That's just a patch.
Yep. And again, I don't have it show it in context, but the first one that we had here,
I can see the little difference in color.
Yeah, it seems darker.
Oh, it's
Bluer a little.
Well,
even
and,
in
you know,
the-
there is a black Mondo grass, which if it's very dark, that may be what it is black Mondo.
But you can see that's the only place it's in the yard. It's probably 20 inches across and maybe almost 32, 33
That
feet.
appears to be black Mondo that has somehow gotten this. Is that just regular monkey grass that you have in there also, or what
No,
is
that's a
that?
weed.
Just weed.
That's a dollar weed up on there. I've got a few. It's very near a tree line where we had the preventive maintenance
Well,
done.
I will tell you that you could make a pretty compelling statement in a heavy shade area with a solid turf area of
Mondo grass.
Yes.
And that prior to the trees being trimmed, it would have been much more shady than it is. It's going to be
But
now.
it can tolerate the sun, obviously, but it principally is used in areas where that you get a lot of shade.
But,
you got a question out there?
We have a voicemail.
We have a
Whenever we're
voicemail.
ready.
Okay, well, let's do that.
Dun, dun,
Good
dun.
morning.
Hold on.
Ann from Franklin.
See, it says that it's there.
Question. I have a plant.
Let's start it over.
Okay.
Good morning. This is Ann from Franklin. I have a question. I have a plant, and I don't know if I say it right, Crossandra or orange marmalade. I had outside in pots last year, and I brought them in, hopefully to keep them alive, and I survived that with them. But I was wondering when I could put those back outside without them meeting some kind of terrible fate. Thank you.
Well, no, that little caveat at
You
the end.
you better get the
There are many
neighborhood
terrible
watch.
fates
Yes.
that can be met along the way. So you need to be attuned with the weather. Could you put them out now if they have started coming back up, which is not unlikely? They're going to be very tender, and they're going to be susceptible to freeze damage, that kind of thing. So
I don't think we're quite done with winter yet.
oh, no, we're not. Our average last frost date is the 15th of April, not March. So we still have at least a month of potential frost and freezing temperatures out ahead of us.
And we've had, in the past, the Easter Bunny Clipper took us out one year. I took
Now,
a bunch of folks out.
the benefit of getting it out early and getting it in the sun is that it does, if it's inside a house or even if it's in a basement, in a basement, it's probably not getting much light.
No.
If it's inside the house, it might be getting enough light, but it's getting too much heat. It's really juiced up and tender. So if the house situation is your scenario where you're coming from a heated area to outside, regardless of the amount of light, it's very risky to move it out in a permanent fashion. As long as you're okay with moving it back in when necessary, it'll be all right to move it out now.
You just keep it close to the door.
Now, if it's coming out of the basement and it's still functionally dormant, it's probably a lot safer to do that right now. And it'll take it longer to come out, but when it does start pushing out new growth, it's going to have much more stiff and tougher growth to come out of it, that it will not be susceptible to sunburn, and it'll be a little more adept at dealing with the cooler conditions. You might only need to cover it with a sheet or some kind of a light cover a couple of times during the next month, depending on what the weather conditions do. So I'm sorry if that sounds like an answer that's all over the board, because it is. I don't know exactly what your conditions are, but hopefully that gives you enough information to be able to make the best call. The main thing is if you decide to put it out now and the weather looks like it's going to be cold or having a chance of frost or whatever, either cover it or move it back in for a night. Hopefully this is not a really large container so you can move it pretty easily. So that's my advice to you on that. I hope that's helpful to you.
Absolutely. 615-499-6690. We are.
Well, we got about 5 minutes. We started 5 minutes
late. So
I
we're
got a quick question.
Yeah.
I am putting in a greenhouse, and it's kind of like this geodesic kit that I got with couplers and stuff. And you
Cool.
just
Oh, that is cool.
You screw 1 by 2 pieces of wood. I got pressure treated, put it into
Got the little
hubs.
angle connectors where you put the little sections together
It's
like
a,
that.
It's a 5-pointed hub.
Oh,
and
boy.
and it makes a pentagonal greenhouse. It's called Magidome.
10 sides.
Magidome.
5 sides.
5 sides.
5
So
sides.
each hub has 5 connections where the angle's already preset, so you slide them in there. It's made of ABS plastic.
Cool.
And I got my greenhouse plastic, and I just got some limestone gravel to lay as a base for the greenhouse.
Right.
What is the best depth to avoid any green surprises? And by that I mean like plants coming up
30
through the
feet.
gravel.
Okay, now, actually, you don't have to have it especially deep so long as you put some kind of a weed barrier underneath. Now, I would suggest not to use black plastic. Now, plastic is very effective at putting a light barrier down there, but it's also a water barrier.
Both ways.
Both ways. And that's the problem, is that not only can it prevent water from going down or percolating out, you're going to be watering plants in here, obviously. It can also trap water, which makes it very soggy underneath. So
the one tip that we'll get
using a product such as Typar or weed barrier fabric that has a semi-permeable nature to it, it allows water to percolate down through and then vapor can come out of it, is a better choice. And if it's covered with gravel, it's permanent. The only thing that breaks it down is the photo degradation due to direct contact with sunlight.
Yes.
So long as it's covered, it'll be a one-time thing, and you can get by with just a couple or 3 inches of gravel if you're going to do that, and that'll give you a really nice job.
What's the size of the
greenhouse?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so the cool thing about that kit is that you cut the lengths of the wood to how big you want it.
Okay.
And it's all equal cuts.
Okay.
So
wherever you start out with, everything, if it's 24 inches, everything's 24 inches.
Are you bolting or screwing to these hubs?
I'm screwing with a little washer screw, but it's not, it's treated. It's an exterior screw, so it's not going to degrade.
Okay.
I guess it's kind of like a decking screw, but it's got a larger head on it.
Okay. Now the treated is going to dry, so you're going to. I was going to suggest hopefully
you're talking about wood actually shrinking up.
You will get a little bit of that. Had you been bolting this together, I was going to recommend that you not tighten the bolts until you get it completely assembled as best you possibly can.
I did pre-drill.
Okay.
So just to avoid any splitting or cracking, even though the screws could drill themselves, they had that concave bit. But
right.
Good choice, because you're going to be really close to your ends where those are. But maybe not take them all away. It's hard to do when you're using screws. Are they hex headed or squares?
They are. Are you talking
if it's a washer screw, it's probably a hex head.
You're talking about the drive.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a T15 or T25.
Oh, so, Star Drive.
Star Drive.
Oh, okay, they got you there.
Yeah.
Okay, but just move slowly.
Sure.
Move slowly and consistently all the way around, and try to move up with it. But anytime you're doing anything with bolts, just and it's portable, like what you're talking about.
It's a lot easier to kind of get it all hand tight put together,
because you're gonna think you're level and you're not.
Yeah. I've been really particular about leveling the ground, and I still might get down there and get my eye down level with the.
How are you going to anchor it now? Is there?
I got some bent rebar, like it's kind of curved, and it's 16 inches.
You're going to drive those down around the base.
And I've got 8 of them, and I'm going to drive it in all the way around. 8 more?
Yeah, go get 8 more.
Double it up. Mm-hmm. So the structure itself is, I cut them in 4-foot lengths. So the entire structure is about 7.5 feet round, let's say, because it kind of the Pentagon is kind of a.
Are you going to be able to stand up inside it?
At the middle point, yes, it's 5.5 feet. It's a little tight, but it's plenty.
Neat little. It sounds like a great little project too.
Would be
neat.
It is, and there's another one where if you wanted to do bigger structural domes, Stromberg's Chickens online has this system called the Stromberg Star Plate. These big steel plates that you could use 2x4s instead of 1x2s, and makes anything you want. Like
it's a very strong structure. Now, at the end of the day, it's going to be very, very strong. So
definitely
don't stand on top of it, though.
No, I can't do it with this one.
Yeah. Well, it's not worth taking that kind of risk for anyway. So,
All right, we're
We've
done.
about used up our time here, guys. And
Okay.
hey, Billy Crane, our apologies for not getting you on here today. We suffered through the technical difficulties. We appreciate you guys hanging in there
Yes.
with us, and
Now,
we will do
next
better.
Week, next week we're scheduled to have the Restless in studio with us here. So
We're going to be doing Wi-Fi work this week.
Yeah, we're gonna hopefully get this all going together because they had to cancel last time too. But so folks, next Saturday morning this crew will be here.
Yep.
Hopefully you'll join us. Go out there and share. Ring the bell while you're on here. Ring the bell on the Facebook page so you can make sure you get your notifications and get everybody going. But stay safe out there. Go ahead, push your clocks forward at 2:00 this morning.
Yeah. Don't cheat.
So you won't be late for the show next Saturday morning. We'll see you next Saturday.